The Flash is a name of a fictional comic book superhero from the DC Comics universe. Created by writer Gardner Fox and artist Harry Lampert, the original Flash first appeared in Flash Comics #1. Nicknamed the Scarlet Speedster and the Crimson Comet, all incarnations of the Flash possess super speed, which includes the ability to run and move extremely fast, use superhuman reflexes and seemingly violate certain laws of physics. Thus far, 4 different characters each of whom somehow gained the power of super speed have assumed the identity of the Flash: Garrick, Barry Allen, Wally West, and Bart Allen. Before Wally and Bart's ascension to the mantle of the Flash, they were both Flash copyright Gar copyright S under the same name Kid Flash. The second incarnation of the Flash, Barry Allen, is generally considered the first hero of the Silver Age of comic books. On May 6, 2011, IGN ranked the third Flash, Wally West, number 8 on their list of the top 100 superheroes of all time, stating that Wally West is one of the DCU unregistered trademark's greatest heroes, even if he does an unregistered trademark T rank as the original Scarlet Speedster. Each version of the Flash has been a key member of at least one of DC's premier teams, the Justice Society of America, the Justice League, and the Teen Titans. Wally West has recently rejoined the Justice League, and Barry Allen recently returned to life in the pages of Final Crisis. The Barry Allen version of the character was featured in a live-action television series in 1990, starring John Wesley Shipp. The Wally West version of the Flash is featured in the animated series Justice League. All 4 incarnations of the character have appeared in the Young Justice animated series, with the Wally West version of Kid Flash as a main character in the first season. A new Flash television show is scheduled to premiere on the WB in October 2014. Publication history: Golden Age. The Flash first appeared in the Golden Age Flash Comics #1, from All American Publications, one of 3 companies that would eventually merge to form DC Comics. Created by writer Gardner Fox and artist Harry Lampert, this Flash was Garrick, a college student who gained his speed through the inhalation of hard water vapors. When reintroduced in the 1960s, Garrick's origin was modified slightly, gaining his powers through exposure to heavy water. Garrick was a popular character in the 1940s, supporting both Flash Comics and All Flash Quarterly, co-starring in Comic Cavalcade, and being a charter member of the Justice Society of America, the first superhero team, whose adventures ran in All-Star Comics. With superheroes' post-war decline in popularity, Flash Comics was cancelled with issue number 104, which featured an evil version of the Flash called The Rival. The Justice Society's final Golden Age story ran in All-Star Comics number 57. Silver Age. In 1956, DC Comics successfully revived superheroes, ushering in what became known as the Silver Age of comic books. Rather than bringing back the same Golden Age heroes, DC rethought them as new characters for the modern age. The Flash was the first revival, in the aptly named Tryout Comic Book Showcase #4. This new Flash was Barry Allen, a police scientist who gained super speed when bathed by chemicals after a shelf of them was struck by lightning. He adopted the name The Flash after reading a comic book featuring the Golden Age Flash. After several more appearances in Showcase, Allen's character was given his own title, The Flash, the first issue of which was number 105. The Silver Age Flash proved popular enough that several other Golden Age heroes were revived in new incarnations. A new superhero team, the Justice League of America, was also created, with the Flash as a main, charter member. Barry Allen's title also introduced a much-imitated plot device into superhero comics when it was revealed that Garrick and Allen existed on fictional parallel worlds. Their powers allowed them to cross the dimensional boundary between worlds, and the men became good friends. Flash of Two Worlds number 123, was the first crossover in which a Golden Age character met a Silver Age character. Soon, there were crossovers between the entire Justice League and the Justice Society. Their respective teams began an annual get-together which endured from the early 1960s until the mid-1980s. Allen's adventures continued in his own title until the advent of Crisis on Infinite Earths. The Flash ended as a series with issue number 350. Allen's life had become considerably confused in the early 1980s, and DC elected to end his adventures and pass the mantle on to another character. Allen died heroically in Crisis on Infinite Earths number 8. Thanks to his ability to travel through time, he would continue to appear occasionally in the years to come. Modern age. The third Flash was Wally West, introduced in The Flash number 110 as Kid Flash. West, Allen's nephew by marriage, gained the Flash's powers through an accident identical to Allen's. Adopting the identity of Kid Flash, he maintained membership in the Teen Titans for years. Following Allen's death, West adopted the Flash identity in Crisis on Infinite Earths number 12 and was given his own series, beginning with The Flash number 1 in 1987. Many issues began with the catchphrase, "My name is Wally West. I'm the fastest man alive." Due to the Infinite Crisis miniseries and the one-year-later jump in time in the DC Universe, DC cancelled The Flash in January 2006 at number 230. A new series, The Flash, The Fastest Man Alive, began on June 21, 2006. The initial story arc of the series, written by Danny Bilson and Paul DeMeo with art by Ken Lashley, focused on Bart Allen's acceptance of the role of the Flash. Flash, Fastest Man Alive was cancelled with issue number 13. In its place The Flash was revived with issue number 231, with Mark Waid as the initial writer. Waid also wrote All Flash number 1, which acted as the bridge between the two series. DC had solicited Flash, Fastest Man Alive through issue number 15. All Flash number 1 replaced issue number 14 and The Flash number 231 replaced issue number 15 in title and interior creative team only. The covers and cover artists were as solicited by DC, and the information text released was devoid of any plot information. In 2009, Barry Allen made a full-fledged return to the DCU proper in The Flash, Rebirth, a 6-issue miniseries by Jeff Johns and Ethan Van Sciver. Fictional character biographies. While several other individuals have used the name Flash, these have lived either on other parallel worlds, or in the future. Garrick, Allen and West are the best-known exemplars of the identity. J. Garrick. Jason Peter J. Garrick was a college student in 1938 who accidentally inhaled heavy water vapors after falling asleep in his laboratory where he had been working. As a result, he found that he could run at superhuman speed and had similarly fast reflexes. After a brief career as a college football star, he donned a red shirt with a lightning bolt and a stylized metal helmet with wings, and began to fight crime as the Flash. His first case involved battling the Faultless Four, a group of blackmailers. Jay kept his identity secret for years without a mask by continually vibrating his body while in public so that any photograph of his face would be blurred. Although originally from Earth 2, he was incorporated into the history of New Earth following the Crisis on Infinite Earths and is still active as the Flash operating out of Keystone City. He is a member of the Justice Society. Barry Allen. Bartholomew Henry Barry Allen is a police scientist who has a reputation for being very slow, deliberate, and frequently late, which frustrated his fiancée copyrightee, Iris West. One night, as he was preparing to leave work, a lightning bolt shattered a case full of chemicals and spilled them all over Allen. As a result, Allen found that he could run extremely fast and had matching reflexes. He donned a set of red tights sporting a lightning bolt, dubbed himself the Flash, and became a crime fighter active in Central City. In his civilian identity, he stores the costume compressed in a special ring via the use of a special gas that could compress cloth fibers to a very small fraction of their normal size. Allen sacrificed his life for the universe in the 1985 Maxi series Crisis on Infinite Earths, and remained dead for over 20 years after that story's publication. With the 2008 series Final Crisis, Allen returned to the DC Universe and returned to full prominence as the Flash in the 2009 series The Flash, Rebirth, which was soon after followed by a new volume of the Flash ongoing series, where Allen's adventures as the Scarlet Speedster are currently published. Wally West. Wallace Rudolph Wally West is the nephew of Iris West and of Barry Allen by marriage. and was introduced in The Flash number 110. When West was about 10 years old, he was visiting his uncle's police laboratory, and the freak accident that gave Allen his powers repeated itself, bathing West in electrically charged chemicals. Now possessing the same powers as his uncle, West donned a copy of his uncle's outfit and became the young crime fighter Kid Flash. After the events of Crisis on Infinite Earths where Barry Allen was killed, Wally took over as the fastest man alive. Following the events of Infinite Crisis, Wally, his wife Linda, and their twins left Earth for an unknown dimension. Wally, his wife and twins were pulled back from the Speed Force by the Legion of Superheroes at the conclusion of the Lightning Saga. This set the stage for Wally West's return as the Flash after the events of The Flash, Fastest Man Alive number 13, in All Flash number 1, and with the Flash series, which resumed with issue number 231 in August 2007. It subsequently ends with issue number 247, and West, along with all the other Flash characters, play a large role in 2009's The Flash, Rebirth. Bart Allen. Bartholomew Henry Bart Allen II is the grandson of Barry Allen and his wife Iris. Bart suffered from accelerated aging and, as a result, was raised in a virtual reality machine until Iris took him back in time to get help from the then-current Flash, Wally West. With Wally's help, Bart's aging slowed, and he took the name Impulse. After he was shot in the knee by Deathstroke, Bart changed both his attitude and his costume, taking the mantle of Kid Flash. During the events of Infinite Crisis, the Speed Force vanished, taking with it all the speedsters save J. Garrick. Bart returned, 4 years older, and for a year claimed that he was depowered from the event. However, the Speed Force had not disappeared completely, but had been absorbed into Bart's body. Essentially, he now contained all of the Speed Force. Bart's costume as the Flash was a clone of his grandfather's, similarly stylized to Wally West's. Not long after taking the mantle of the Flash, Bart was killed by the Rogues in the 13th issue of The Flash, The Fastest Man Alive. However, he was later resurrected in the 31st Century and Final Crisis, Legion of Three Worlds number 3 by Brainiac 5 to combat Superboy Prime and the Legion of Supervillains. Writer Jeff Johns confirmed that Bart will return to the past and play a large role in The Flash, Rebirth. Others to carry the mantle of the Flash, Jesse Chambers. Daughter of the speedster Johnny Quick, Jesse Chambers becomes a speeding superhero like her father. She later meets Wally West, the Flash, who asks her to be his replacement if something were to happen to him. She briefly assumes the mantle of the Flash, after Wally enters the Speed Force. Unnamed Allen of the 23rd Century, the father of Sale Allen, his wife and daughter were captured by Cobalt Blue. He is forced to watch his wife die and his daughter become crippled. As he and Max Mercury kill Cobalt Blue, a child takes the gem and kills Allen. This Flash is one of the 2 destined Flashes to be killed by Cobalt Blue. Sale Allen. Sale Allen is an ordinary human in the 23rd century until Cobalt Blue steals electrical impulses away from her, causing her to become as slow to the world as the world is to the Flash. Hoping to restore her, her father takes her into the Speed Force. When her father is killed, she appears as a living manifestation of the Speed Force, able to lend speed to various people and objects, but unable to physically interact with the world. Blaine Allen and his son live on the colony world of Ptuse in the 28th century. In an attempt to end the Allen bloodline, Cobalt Blue injects Allen's son Jake with a virus. Lacking super speed, Jake was unable to shake off the virus. In despair, Blaine takes his son to the Speed Force in the hopes that it would accept him. It takes Blaine instead and grants super speed to Jake so that he can shake off the sickness. Jake Allen gains super speed when his father brings him into the Speed Force to attempt to cure him of a virus injected into his body by Cobalt Blue in an attempt to end the Allen bloodline. In memory of his father, Jake assumes the mantle of the Flash and continues the feud against Cobalt Blue. Kryad. After an alien creature invades Earth, a history buff named Kryad travels back in time from the 98th century to acquire a Green Lantern power ring. He fails, so he tries to capture the Flash's speed instead. After being beaten by Barry Allen number 309, May 1982, he travels back further in time and uses the chemicals from the clothes Barry Allen was wearing when he gained his powers. Creed sacrifices his life to defeat the alien creature. Bizarro Flash. Bizarro Flash was created when Bizarro cloned Flash. He had a costume the reverse colors of Flash's, however he had a gavel symbol because Flash was holding one when he was cloned. The modern version of Bizarro Flash is the symbol of a thunderbolt-shaped mustard stain. Powers and abilities. All incarnations of the Flash can move, think, and react at light speeds as well as having superhuman endurance that allows them to run incredible distances. Some, notably later versions, can vibrate so fast that they can pass through walls in a process called quantum tunneling, travel through time and can also lend and borrow speed. Furthermore, all members have an invisible aura around their bodies that prevents themselves and their clothes from being affected by air friction as they move at high speed. Speedsters can heal more rapidly than the average human. On several occasions, the Flash has raced against Superman either to determine who is faster or as part of a mutual effort to thwart some type of threat. These races, however, often resulted in ties because of outside circumstances. Writer Jim Shooter and artist Kurt Swan crafted the story Superman's Race with the Flash. In Superman number 199, which featured the first race between the Flash and Superman, writer E. Nelson Bridwell and artist Ross Andrup produced the Race to the End of the Universe, a follow-up story 4 months later in The Flash number 175. However, after the DC Universe revision after Crisis on Infinite Earths, the Flash does successfully beat Superman in a race in Adventures of Superman number 463 with the explanation that Superman is not accustomed to running at high speed for extended periods of time since flying is more versatile and less strenuous, which means the far more practiced Flash has the advantage. After Final Crisis in Flash, Rebirth number 3, the Flash is shown as being much faster than Superman, easily outstripping him as Superman tries to keep up with him. He reveals that all the close races between them had been for charity. Speedsters may at times use the ability to speed read at incredible rates and in doing so, process vast amounts of information. Whatever knowledge they acquire in this manner is usually temporary. Their ability to think fast also allows them some immunity to telepathy, as their thoughts operate at a rate too rapid for telepaths such as Martian Manhunter or Gorilla Grodd to read or influence their minds. Flashes and other super speedsters also have the ability to speak to one another at a highly accelerated rate. This is often done to have private conversations in front of non-fast people. Speed talking is also sometimes used for comedic effect where Flash becomes so excited that he begins talking faster and faster until his words become a jumble of noise. Other versions. In the final issue of 52, a new multiverse is revealed, originally consisting of 52 identical realities. Among the parallel realities shown is one designated Earth 2. As a result of Mr. Mind-eating aspects of this reality, it takes on visual aspects similar to the pre-crisis Earth 2, including the Flash among other Justice Society of America characters. The names of the characters in the team are not mentioned in the panel in which they appear, but the Flash is visually similar to the J. Garrick Flash. Based on comments by Grant Morrison, this alternate universe is not the pre-crisis Earth 2. A variant of the Flash, a super-fast college student named Mary Maxwell, was seen in the Elseworld book Just Imagine Stan Lee creating the Flash. Tanaka Rei, the Flash of Earth D. Rei was a Japanese man who idolized Barry Allen, whose stories only existed in comic books on this world. Rei was inspired by Allen to become the Flash, much like Allen was inspired to become the Flash by his idol, J. Garrick. Allen and Rei met during the Crisis on Infinite Earths, when Barry was coming back from the 30th century and arrived in the wrong universe. As Earth D was under attack by the Shadow Demons, Barry called on the Justice League and Tanaka called on the Justice Alliance, his world's version of the Justice League. They built a cosmic treadmill and were able to evacuate much of Earth D's population. The Justice League left, but 39 seconds later, Earth D perished. Rei made his only appearance in Legends of the DC Universe, Crisis on Infinite Earths. The story was written by Marv Wolfman, with art by Paul Ryan and Bob McLeod. Leah Nelson. The young, female Flash of the Tangent Universe is not a speedster, but instead the first child born in space, and being made up of and able to control light. As a side effect, she can move at the speed of light, which actually makes her faster than most of the other post-crisis Flashes, as only Wally West has ever survived a light speed run without becoming trapped in the Speed Force. She recently reappeared in Justice League of America number 16, somehow summoned out of the paper Green Lantern of her universe, an artifact that survived the crisis that erased the Tangent Universe from existence. Leah Nelson also appeared in Countdown, Arena battling two versions of the Flash from other Earths within the multiverse. In the 52-Earth multiverse, the Tangent Universe is designated Earth 9. Superman and Batman, Generations 2. In Superman and Batman, Generations 2, three different Flashes appear. Wally West is Kid Flash in 1964, Wally's cousin Carrie is Kid Flash in 1986, and Jay West, the son of Wally and his wife Magda as the fifth Flash in 2008. Barry Allen makes a cameo appearance out of costume in 1964. Green Lightning, Ali Rayner West, also known as Green Lightning, is a descendant of both Kyle Rayner and Wally West. She is both a power ring and super speed, as seen in Green Lantern, Circle of Fire. She was a living construct created by Kyle Rayner's subconscious, who later refused into his mind. AIM-Comet, a teenage version of Jesse Chambers, appears as the Flash of the AIM-Comet universe. As with most of the other characters of that Earth, she sports an anime-inspired costume. The Crash, the 1980s series Captain Carrot and his amazing zoo crew presented the parallel Earth of Earth C-, a world populated by funny animals superheroes that paralleled the mainstream DC universe. Earth C- was the home of the Crash, a turtle with super speed powers similar to those of Barry Allen's, and a member of his world's superhero team, the Just-A-Lotta-Animals. The Crash as a youth had read comics about Earth C's terrific Heartset, similar to how Barry Allen enjoyed comics about Earth 2's Jay Garrick. Danica Williams, an African-American teenager named Danica Williams, appears as the Flash in the Justice League Beyond series, acting as Wally West's successor during the 2040s. She is employed at the Flash Museum in Central City, and like Barry Allen, is chronically late. Writers: the following writers have been involved in the ongoing The Flash and Flash comic series. Awards: the comics and characters have been nominated for and won several awards over the years, including 1961 Ali Award for Best Cover number 123, 1961 Ali Award for Best Single Comic number 123 by Gardner Fox and Carmine Infantino, 1963 Ali Award for Crossover of DC Heroes for The Brave and the Bold, 1964 Ali Award for Best Short Story number 148 by John Broome and Carmine Infantino, 2008 Sala Award for Best Superhero, in other media. Throughout his 70-year history, The Flash has appeared in numerous media. The Flash has been included in multiple animated features, such as Super Friends and Justice League, as well as his own live-action television series and some guest star appearances on Smallville. There are numerous videos that feature the character. In the Challenge of the Super Friends series, which ran from 1978 to 1979, he appears in every episode and has spoken lines in only 12 out of the 16 episodes of the series. He also had two arch-enemies from the Legion of Doom, Captain Cold and Gorilla Grodd. The Flash appeared for one season on the CBS network, starring double Emmy Award winner John Wesley Shipp as Barry Allen. Produced by Danny Bilson and Paul DeMeo, the series was a mild amalgamation of the Barry Allen and Wally West versions of the comics in that the female lead was Tina McGee, and Wally's need for large amounts of food after expending so much energy running all over Central City was transferred to Barry. After his lightning-induced chemical accident, Barry got into crime fighting after the death of his police officer brother, Jay. It is presumed that Jay was named for the original comic book Flash, Jay Garrick. A handful of the Scarlet Speedster's Rogues Gallery made guest appearances throughout the series, Captain Cold, Mirror Master, and the Trickster. The Flash also fought a clone of himself who wore a blue costume. A few episodes were written by comics legend Howard Chaykin, and the TV costume was designed by Dave Stevens. While a critical success and vigorously backed by the network, The series had the dubious distinction of being aired against ratings powerhouses The Cosby Show on NBC and Fox's The Simpsons. The Flash was preempted by Christmas specials and the Desert Storm war in Iraq, and constantly moved all over the schedule, and was cancelled after its first and only season. Warner Brothers released the series in a 6-disc DVD box set on January 10, 2006. The series' main musical theme was composed by Danny Elfman, with the remainder of the episode's music being composed by Shirley Walker. When The Flash made a guest appearance in the Superman, the animated series episode Speed Demons, Walker incorporated some of the themes from the live-action series into the episode. In the music scene, the band Jim's Big Ego released a song called The Ballad of Barry Allen in their album They're Everywhere. The song portrays Barry as a tragic character, whose perception of the world is so accelerated that all of reality appears to proceed at a snail's pace, causing him to gradually slip into depression. The band's frontman, Jim Infantino, is the nephew of Flash co-creator Carmine Infantino, who provided the cover art for the same album. The Flash is a playable character in the Mortal Kombat and DC Comics crossover game Mortal Kombat vs. DC Universe. The first official render for The Flash was released to the public on Monday, July 7, 2008. His bio reveals that this version is Barry Allen. He is also a playable character in Injustice, Gods Among Us, developed by NetherRealm Studios. 2 versions of The Flash make appearances in DC Universe Online. Barry Allen fights alongside the heroes against Gorilla Grodd's army, and is a bounty for the villains. Jay Garrick appears in the Watchtower, selling powerful armor to level 30 heroes with them at a poor origin. Impulse is shown in Young Justice, Invasion as the grandson of Barry Allen and Iris West. He comes from the future to save his grandfather from Neutron. Once he travels back, he does succeed in saving Barry Allen, and stopping Neutron. This was supposed to save the future, but it is shown that the future remains the same. When he tries to travel back to his time machine doesn't work. It is shown in a backstory that he knew he was going to be stuck in the past, because the wires would be fried, though he doesn't reveal this to anyone on the team. At that moment, he is considered an official member. In the Arrow episode titled The Scientist, Central City CSI investigator Barry Allen partners with Felicity Smoak to find the thief that broke into one of the Queen Consolidated Applied Sciences building. Barry claims that he was sent from Central City to Starling City to investigate since there were connections to a case in Central City. Oliver Queen soon finds out that Barry was actually an assistant who came to Starling to investigate this strange occurrence in the hope that he would find an answer to who murdered his mother when he was a child. His appearance will set up the character for his own series in 2014. The Flash made his first theatrical film appearance in the Lego Movie. In popular culture, numerous references to The Flash are presented on the television show The Big Bang Theory. A particular reference is main character Sheldon Cooper's Flash t-shirt, which has become a staple of merchandise clothing. In Season 3 of Lost, titled Catch-22, Charlie and Hurley debate over who would win a foot race between The Flash and Superman. The false name Barry Allen is used by character of con artist Frank Abagnale, Jr. in the movie Catch Me If You Can. When a coffee shop waiter notices the notes of FBI agent Carl Hanratty, he reveals that Barry Allen is the Flash, giving Carl a vital clue to his unknown subject's identity. In 2006, a near-pristine copy of Flash Comics #1 was sold in a heritage auction for $273,125. The same book was then sold privately for $450,000 in 2010. Renan Cambay wears a Flash costume while playing Carrie, the manager of a comic book store, in Joe Liper's Dream Job. The band Jim's Big Ego wrote the song The Ballad of Barry Allen, detailing the hardship having to watch time moving so slowly from the perspective of Allen. The frontman of the band, Jim Infantino, is the nephew of Flash artist Carmine Infantino. In the movie Daddy Daycare, one of the daycare kids named Tony wore a Flash costume for the majority of the film. In the My Little Pony, Friendship is Magic episode Power Ponies, Pinkie Pie becomes a superhero based on the Flash called Phil II. Rogues. Like Batman, the Flash has a reputation for having fought a distinctive and memorable rogues gallery of supervillains. In the Flash's case, some of these villains have adopted the term Flash's Rogues Gallery as an official title, and insist on being called rogues rather than supervillains, or similar names. At times, various combinations of the rogues have banded together to commit crimes or take revenge on the Flash, usually under the leadership of Captain Cold. The rogues are known for their communal-style relationship, socializing together and operating under a strict moral code, sometimes brutally enforced by Captain Cold. Such rules include no drugs, and, except in very dire situations or on unique occasions, no killing. Considering the blue-collar nature of the Flash's rogues, more than a few have protested the inclusion of Professor Zoom and Abracadabra, often labeling them psychotic, as time travel generally works against their crimes and, at least in the original Zoom's case, they found him dangerous and too willing to kill. In contrast, several new Flash villains have been considered rogues, including Murmur, Double Down, and Peekaboo, but they play second fiddle to new incarnations of Captain Boomerang, Zoom, Mirror Master, and Inertia. Notes. References: Replacement Heroes, The Flash, Mujurama, March 30, 2009, Flash, Rebirth, Hyperborea.org, Flash, How Do You Kill a Legend? The Flash number 309, Carey Bates, Chain Lightning Part 2, Time Like a River. The Flash number 146, Mark Waid and Brian Augustin, Chain Lightning Part 3, Shooting the Rapids. The Flash number 147, Mark Waid and Brian Augustin, Generations Flash 50th Anniversary Special, Mark Waid, Race Against Time Part 3, Speed Metal. The Flash number 115, Mark Waid, DC 1 Million number 1, Grant Morrison, The Sacrifice. Speed Force number 1, Mark Waid and Brian Augustin, external links. Official website, The Flash at the Internet Movie Database, The Flash at DMOZ, Crimson Lightning, an online index to the comic book adventures of The Flash. Alan Kissler's profile on The Flash, an analysis of the history of The Flash by comic book historian Alan Kissler. Alan Kissler's Guide to the Crisis, index to Barry Allen's Earth 1 adventures, comicfoundry.com. Conversation with Flash writers Danny Bilson and Paul DeMeo about Bart Allen as the new Flash.